Hi, this is Mrs. Nelson. We're looking at Illustrative Math for 7th grade. This is Unit 8, Lesson 12, Chance Experiments. The objective states I can describe the likelihood of events using the words impossible, unlikely, equally likely as not, likely, or certain. I can tell which event is more likely when the chances of different events are expressed as fractions, decimals, or percentages. We're looking at the lesson summary from this lesson to try to understand everything that is stated in that objective before we go on to more learning. So the first things first, we're going to number our paragraphs. Paragraph 1 states, a chance experiment is something that happens where the outcome is unknown. For example, if we flip a coin, we don't know if the result will be a head or a tail. An outcome of a chance experiment is something that can happen when you do the chance experiment. For example, when you flip a coin, one possible outcome is that you will get a head. An event is a set of one or more outcomes. So I circled 3 content vocabulary words. I got to make sure I understand those before I move on. If I don't, I should look in my glossary to help me understand what those words mean. So I have chance experiment, I have outcome and event. Outcome and event are both defined in this paragraph. So an outcome is something that could happen, and an event is the set of all possible outcomes. So more than one outcome possibility that could happen in this chance experiment. I feel comfortable with chance experiments, so I'm going to go on. In paragraph 2, it says we can describe events using these phrases: impossible, unlikely, equally likely or not, likely or certain. I've seen this drawn before on a number line, so I think I'm going to draw that in my notes here so that I can reflect on that. So the chances of something happening is anywhere between 0 and 100%. And 100% is the same thing as 1. So we have chances of things happening of, 100%. Absolutely, it's going to happen. It is certain. It will always happen. All the way down to 0, which is impossible. It's never going to happen. So we could have a halfway point between 0 and 1, which is 1/2 or 5/10 or 50%. And we would call that equally likely as it is unlikely to occur. So I'm going to label that as equally likely as not. So there's just as much chance that it's going to happen as it's not going to happen. The closer you get to 100%, the more likely something is to occur. So numbers that are in between 1/2 and 1/2, or 5/10 and 1, or 50% and 100% are more likely to occur than not occur. So we call that likely. And then unlikely would happen or be or if something's more unlikely to occur, that would be smaller values closer to 0, like 1/4 or 25/100 or 25%. For example, if you flip a coin, it's impossible that the coin will turn into a bottle of ketchup. So that will never happen. It is unlikely the coin will land on its edge. So it could happen, but it's very unlikely, so it's probably close to 0. It is equally likely as not that you will get a tail. We know that if the coin isn't weighted or affected in any way, you're just as likely to get heads as you are to get tails. And so it's equally likely as not to get a tail compared to a head. It is likely that you will get a head or a tail. Yeah, you're going to get one or the other. Although you could get something like it landing on its side, so then we can't say that's 100% certain going to happen every time. And it is certain that the coin will land somewhere. So that's going to happen every single time. Gravity will bring it down and it will land somewhere. Paragraph 4, the probability of an event is a measure of the likelihood that an event will occur. We will learn more about probabilities in lessons to come. So the probability is how likely or unlikely something is to happen, and we usually label that with a number value. So one of those values between 0 and 1 or 0 and 100%.